If you came here expecting moral lectures, how to become a good person in society's eyes, or comforting reassurances that if you just work hard enough, success will surely arrive, then you've probably knocked on the wrong door. Here, we don't talk about what society wants you to believe. We talk about what is actually happening beneath the shiny surface of numbers, spreadsheets, and polished economic theories. Today, we are going to dissect a monster that everyone desires but very few truly understand. That monster is capital. We will decode why this system runs in a way where money generates money, and why your simple, relentless hard work can sometimes become the very chain that keeps you trapped in the dark. Fasten your seatbelt. This is not a tour, this is an autopsy. Welcome to Inner Shadow, where there are truths society does not want you to know. Look out there. Look at the skyscrapers, the bustling financial centers across the world. What do you see? People in sharp suits, screens flickering with non-stop numbers, a massive river of money that never rests. Human beings are born to work. That is true, but there is a brutal truth the designers of this game never say to you directly in a capitalist system. Labor is only fuel, capital is the engine. Many people look at the wealth of the elite and shrug. They're rich because they're greedy. That explanation is partly lazy. Greed is a human instinct. It exists in both the rich and the poor. If you use greed alone to explain everything, you will stay outside the game forever. The truth is colder. Money generates money not because of greed, but because it is the system's most optimized operating rule. Adam Smith, often called the father of modern economics, did not write The Wealth of Nations as a heroic anthem praising the kindness of business owners. On the contrary, he pointed out that the economy does not run on the benevolence of the butcher or the baker. It runs on their self-interest. But Smith also revealed something deeper, a blind spot most of us overlook. This system prioritizes efficiency over morality. Capital is favored not because it is good, but because it can scale. Human strength has limits. Capital does not. A master craftsman, no matter how skilled, still has only 24 hours in a day and 2 hands. But a machine created by capital can work 24/7 with productivity thousands of times greater. When capital replaces muscle, society grows richer overall. But the gap between the one who owns the machine and the one who operates it begins to become an abyss. Welcome to the real world, where your effort is priced by rules with no heart. The curse of linear time. To understand why you keep running on a wheel without ever reaching the finish line, you must understand the structure of the economic chessboard. Adam Smith divided society into 3 core components: labor, land, and capital. Imagine this as a race. First is the seller of labor, the person who runs with their own legs. Their only assets are time and health. This is the worst kind of asset in capitalism because it naturally wears out and cannot be regenerated. When you sell 1 hour of labor, you lose that hour forever. Your income is linear. $1 plus $1 equals $2. You work 8 hours, you get paid for 8 hours. If you get sick, you stop and the cash flow disappears. Second is the owner of land, landlords, real estate holders. They own space. They don't need to run. They just stand still and collect fees from those who pass through or live on their land. This is a small step up from labor, but it is still limited by geography. But the owners of capital are the ones flying a jet. Capital is not just cash. It can be machines, technology systems, artificial intelligence entities that can create value without the owner's presence. So what is the decisive difference here? It is the separation between income and time. While workers are imprisoned in the trap of trading time for money, those with capital have broken that chain. An automated production line in Silicon Valley still generates profit, while its owner sleeps on a yacht in the Mediterranean. Value is produced continuously, accumulated continuously. This is not an injustice created by one individual. It is a feature of the system. Capital allows humans to package labor value into non-human entities, machines, shares, algorithms. Once value is packaged, it can be replicated. Your labor power cannot be replicated. You cannot be in two places at the same time to earn two salaries. But $1 invested in the right place can work in 10 different markets at once. The greatest advantage of capital is not buying luxury goods. It is buying the right to wait. Those with capital can wait for opportunities to ripen. They can tolerate short-term losses to capture long-term markets. Workers do not have that right. If there is no paycheck tomorrow, even the packet of instant noodles on the shelf disappears. When you are forced to live for immediate survival, you never have enough resources to calculate for the long game. The system doesn't need to imprison you. It only needs to keep you so busy making a living that you no longer have time to think about why you have to make a living this way. The formula of accumulation when money becomes a self-replicating organism. Why do the rich get richer even when crises happen? Is it because they are simply smarter? Sometimes yes, but largely it is because they own a monster called reinvested profit. Look at how a multinational corporation operates. When it earns $1 billion in profit, it doesn't spend it all celebrating or shopping. It uses that money to buy more machines, acquire smaller competitors, or invest in new technologies to cut staff, meaning to reduce labor costs. Money does not generate money because it is greedy. Money generates money because capital has a compounding, cumulative nature. Let's do a simple calculation. If you have $1,000 and earn 10% a year after 1 year, you have $1,100. But if you have $1 billion, that same 10% is $100 million. With $100 million, you can hire the smartest minds in the world, buy the most expensive data sets in the world, and ensure that next year you don't earn just 10%, you earn 15% or 20%. This is the Matthew effect in economics. To those who have more will be given, and they will have an abundance. From those who do not have even what they have will be taken away. Meanwhile, workers often fall into the trap of forced consumption. Modern society, especially Western economies, is designed to extract even the small change that workers sweat to earn. Loud marketing campaigns, a new iPhone every year, installment vacations, all of it aims at one goal, ensuring that money flows out of the worker's pocket back into the pocket of capital owners as fast as possible. Adam Smith pointed to an extremely uncomfortable truth. Society does not become rich through consumption, but through accumulation. Consumption helps money circulate. It creates demand so goods and services are produced. But remember, it is only the spark. The real fuel is capital, the stock accumulated from the past. Consumption keeps the market moving. But if capital does not flow into productive investment, total capital is not created. Therefore, from the macroeconomy down to the micro level of individual life, only accumulation and reinvestment make total capital expand. When you buy a luxury car with wages, you are consuming your capital. When a billionaire uses that money to buy shares in the company that manufactures the car, they are accumulating capital. One side chooses instant gratification and receives long-term poverty. The other chooses delay and receives control over the system. Look at how the US Federal Reserve operates in crises when it injects money into the economy for rescue. Where does that money go? First, it flows into banks and financial assets. Those who own stocks and real estate see their assets soar. Meanwhile, ordinary workers face inflation, an invisible tax, and the most brutal one. Bread prices rise, gas prices rise, wages cannot keep up. In reality, inflation is a mechanism that transfers wealth from those who hold cash labor to those who hold real assets capital. Money generating money is not magic. It is a process of extracting value from the future and from those standing at the bottom of the pyramid. Why the system doesn't need you to be happy. We often assume the purpose of the economy is to make humans happy. No, the purpose of the capitalist economy is growth, and growth demands absolute efficiency. In the world of efficiency, humans are just variables. If an algorithm can do better than you, it will replace you. If a worker in another country can do the job for a lower wage than you, your job will disappear. Adam Smith did not focus on fairness because fairness is abstract and emotional. Capitalism operates on the physical laws of profit. When a business invests in machines, it is carrying out a rule capitalizing labor power. Why do large corporations prefer machines to humans? First, machines do not demand wage increases. Second, machines do not protest. Third, machines do not have emotions or fatigue. And fourth, most important, the cost of machines is a fixed cost, while the value they create is effectively unlimited until they break. Modern society is moving toward a stage where capital no longer needs much labor to create prosperity. Look at the world's largest tech companies today. They can have market capitalizations in the trillions of dollars, yet employ far fewer people than the heavy industrial giants of the last century. This creates a bitter paradox. The richer society becomes through capital and technology, the weaker the bargaining position of labor becomes. You are standing on a rung of a ladder where the value you create does not belong to you. You are just a gatekeeper for a castle whose keys you will never hold. The truth nobody wants you to know is that the system prefers you to be poor but still able to consume. If you become too rich, you stop selling your time. If you become too poor, you cannot buy their products. The ideal state of a cell in this machine is to always be slightly short, so you always have the motivation to wake up on Monday morning and push your boulder up the mountain, only to watch it roll down again at the end of the month when the bills arrive. This is not the cruelty of any one individual. It is the logic of operation. A system that wants to survive must ensure fuel labor is always available and the engine capital is always prioritized. Awakening is the only weapon. After hearing all of this, you may feel a bit hopeless. You may feel like an ant beneath the foot of a giant. You may want to overthrow the system. Let me tell you another truth: you cannot destroy this system because you are also a part of it. Every time you use a convenience service, every time you swipe a credit card, every time you search for information on the internet, you are feeding the capitalist monster. Instead of trying to punch a steel wall, the smarter move is to learn the rules of the game and change your position on the chessboard. The system does not care who you are. It only cares what role you occupy. Below are 3 rules of awakening, so you are not merely a victim of capitalist laws. Rule number 1. Stop selling pure time. If your only income depends on your physical presence and your time, you are in the most dangerous zone. Time is an asset that will run out. You must find a way to package your skills or your value into something that can be replicated without you, such as a process, a digital product, a business system, or financial assets. The goal is not to work less. The goal is that every hour you spend today can continue generating returns 10 years from now. Don't just build castles for others. Dedicate at least 20% of your time to firing the bricks for your own castle. Rule number 2. The mindset of the accumulator. View every expense through one lens: is this consumption or investment? Consumption is the act of destroying capital. Investment is the act of planting capital. Society will do everything to convince you that you need that car, that bag to prove yourself. That is an identity trap. Real identity in this system is not what you wear, it is the total assets you control. Learn to endure artificial short-term scarcity in exchange for real long-term freedom. Remember Adam Smith's point: only accumulation makes capital expand. Rule number 3. Understand your position in the system. Never merely try to work harder. Working hard in the wrong position is like running fast on a ship that is moving backward. Observe where money is flowing. Why is it flowing there? Is it because it creates more value, or because it holds control over the system? Instead of hating the rich, study the mechanisms they use to separate income from time. You don't need to become a billionaire, but you do need to escape the lowest layer, those who only sell manual labor or undifferentiated mental labor. Capitalism has no emotions. It neither loves you nor hates you. It is simply a machine running on cold physical laws: efficiency, accumulation, and expansion. In the end, the story of money generating money is not a crime. It is a natural phenomenon of capital when placed in an environment that allows it to replicate. Our mistake is using personal morality to judge a large-scale system. When you understand that the rules were not designed to protect your effort, but to protect the growth of capital, you stop blaming. Blame is the expression of powerlessness. Understanding is the expression of strength. You can continue as an obedient cell, devoting all your time and youth to feeding a system from which you never truly benefit. Or you can begin to see this world as a chessboard where every dollar you save is a soldier and every system you build is a real fortress. This system will not change for you, but you can change your position within it. Congratulations, you have awakened. It's time to stop running and start building, and only now does the game truly begin.